In the endless dark between stars, the human ship hung like a dying ember. Its name was forgotten, its systems failing, its crew gone. Only one remained, Lily. She sat alone in the command chair, her fingers resting on a cracked console, her breath fogging the cold glass of the viewport. Outside, 3 alien warships circled like predators. They were sleek and black, shaped like curved blades, their surfaces shimmering with energy. They belonged to the Cathari, a race feared across the galaxy for their ruthless conquests and unbreakable code of honor. No human had ever faced them and lived. Lily knew she was the last. The battle had been short and brutal. Earth's fleet had been outmatched from the start. She had watched her friends vanish in flashes of light, their ships torn apart by weapons she didn't understand. She had run, not out of cowardice, but because someone had to survive, to tell the story, to carry the memory. Now, with oxygen low and power fading, she had nowhere left to go. She stared at the blinking prompt on her screen. Initiate surrender protocol. It was a last resort, a gesture more symbolic than practical. The Cathari did not take prisoners. They erased, but Lily pressed the button anyway. If this was the end, she would meet it with dignity, not panic. A beam of pale blue light shot from the lead Cathari vessel, scanning her ship from bow to stern. Then silence. For a long moment, nothing happened. Lily held her breath. Then, with a metallic groan, a boarding pod latched onto her airlock. The inner door hissed open and cold air rushed in. A figure stepped through, tall and armored in smooth black plating that seemed to drink the light. The alien moved with eerie grace. Her form was humanoid but elongated, with 6 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs, and 2 secondary limbs folded against her back like dormant wings. Her face was hidden behind a seamless mask, featureless and reflective, showing only Lily's own wide-eyed reflection. "You are the last," the alien said. Her voice was not spoken with a mouth but vibrated through the air itself, a deep, resonant hum that Lily felt in her bones. Lily swallowed. "Yes," the alien tilted her head slightly. "Your ship is broken. Your species is marked for cleansing. Yet you did not flee into the void. You sent a signal of surrender." Why? Lily's mind raced. She could lie. She could beg. But she knew it would be useless. The Cathari respected strength, not weakness. She remembered her father's words before the fleet launched. They don't understand mercy, but they understand courage, so she spoke the truth. "I stayed," she said, her voice quiet but steady, "because someone had to speak for us. Not as a soldier, not as a weapon, but as a person." The alien went very still. The hum in the air faded. For the first time, Lily sensed something beneath the armor. Not anger, not judgment, but curiosity. "Person," the alien repeated as if tasting a foreign word. "Your kind uses that word often. Yet you destroy your own worlds. You wage war on your brothers. You burn your skies. How can you claim personhood when you act like beasts?" Lily met the blank mask with clear eyes. "Because we try. Even when we fail, we try. We build hospitals in war zones. We send messages into space hoping someone will answer. We write songs about love when we've never felt it. We dream of peace even as we fight." The alien stepped closer. The floor trembled slightly under her weight. "You speak as if hope is a weapon." "Maybe it is," Lily said. "The only one we have left." Outside, the other Cathari ships powered down their main cannons. The hum of their engines softened. It was a small change, but Lily noticed it. Something had shifted. The alien raised one clawed hand to the side of her mask. With a soft hiss, the armor split open along glowing seams. Plates folded inward like petals of a dark flower, revealing what lay beneath. Lily gasped. The being before her was not a monster. She was beautiful. Her skin was a deep violet, smooth and faintly luminous. Her eyes were large, golden, and rimmed with silver markings that pulsed like slow heartbeats. Her hair flowed like liquid night, shifting subtly as if alive. Beneath the armor, she wore a form-fitting suit of woven biofiber, simple and elegant. "My name is Vela," she said, her voice now softer, almost melodic. "Commander of the 3rd Cathari Fleet, and you are the first human who has ever looked at me and seen a person." Lily's chest tightened. "I didn't know you looked like this." "Few do," Vela replied. "Our armor is not just protection. It is tradition. It hides what we are so we may act without weakness. Compassion is seen as a flaw among my kind. To show your true face is to invite betrayal." "Then why show me?" Lily asked. Vela stepped closer, her golden eyes searching Lily's face. "Because you asked what I desired." Lily frowned. I did. Not in words, Vela said, but in your silence, in your choice to stay. You offered no threat, no bribe, no trick. You simply existed. And in that existence, you gave me a question I have not heard in centuries. What do you want? Lily hesitated. And what do you want? Vela turned toward the viewport, gazing at the distant blue dot that was Earth. I want to remember why we fight, not just to conquer, but to understand. My people once explored the stars not to destroy, but to learn. We forgot that. We became blades without purpose. She looked back at Lily. You reminded me. Lily felt a strange warmth bloom in her chest. So, you won't destroy Earth? Not yet, Vela said. But I cannot disobey the High Council openly. If I spare your world, I will be branded a traitor. My fleet will turn on me. Then what can we do? Lily asked. Vela reached out, her long fingers hovering just above Lily's cheek, not quite touching. There is an old right. The right of witness. If a Cathari commander chooses to spare a conquered species, she must present a living witness to the council, a being who can speak to the worth of that species. If the witness convinces them, the species is spared. If not, she trailed off. If not, we both die, Lily finished. Vela nodded. You would have to come with me. To the heart of Cathari space, to stand before beings who have never seen a human, who believe you are little more than clever animals. Lily thought of Earth, of her little sister waiting in a bunker beneath Chicago, of the oceans turning gray from war, of cities reduced to rubble. She thought of all the stories humanity had told itself about hope, about love, about reaching for the stars even when falling. I'll go, she said. Vela's eyes softened. It will not be easy. They will test you. They will try to break you. I've been broken before, Lily said with a small, tired smile. I'm still here. Vela reached for her armor but then stopped. I will not wear it again, she said. Not while you are with me. Let them see what I have become. As the Cathari ships turned toward the galactic core, Lily stood beside Vela on the bridge of the command vessel. The stars blurred into streaks of light as they jumped to faster-than-light speed. Below them, Earth shrank to a pale blue dot, then vanished. The journey took weeks. Lily learned the rhythms of the ship, the soft pulse of its living walls, the quiet clicks and hums of Cathari speech, the way the crew moved with disciplined silence. They watched her with suspicion, their masked faces unreadable, but none challenged Vela. Slowly, Lily began to share stories, of human music, of children laughing in rain, of old women planting gardens in war zones, of poets writing verses in bomb shelters. She spoke of kindness without reward, of sacrifice without glory. Vela listened, her golden eyes never leaving Lily's face. Sometimes she would touch Lily's hand, a gesture so gentle it made Lily's breath catch one night. As the ship drifted through a nebula of violet gas, Vela asked, "Why do you care so much for a species that hurts itself?" Lily looked out at the swirling colors. Because we're all we have. And even when we fail, there's always someone who tries to make it better. That's worth saving. Vela was quiet for a long time. Then she said, My people used to believe that too. Before the wars. Before the silence. Maybe you can believe it again, Lily said. Vela smiled. A small, rare thing that lit up her violet face like dawn. Maybe. As they neared Cathari space, tension grew. Scout ships shadowed them. Encrypted messages flashed across the command screens. Vela's second-in-command, a stern officer named Zorak, approached her on the bridge. Commander, he said, his voice tight. The council knows you spared the human. They demand proof of her worth, or your head. Vela did not flinch. They will have their proof. Zorak's mask tilted toward Lily. She is small, fragile. What can she offer that we do not already know? She offers truth, Vela said. Something we have forgotten how to hear. Zorak left without another word, but his doubt hung in the air like smoke. Lily turned to Vela. What happens if they don't believe me? Vela looked at her, her golden eyes full of something Lily couldn't name. Fear, maybe, or hope. Then we fall together. But until then, we stand. And so they flew on. Two beings from different worlds bound by a single fragile thread of trust, heading toward a judgment that would decide the fate of billions. The stars watched in silence as they always had, as they always would. The Cathari homeworld rose before them like a dream carved from crystal. Towers of living stone spiraled into violet skies, their surfaces shimmering with veins of soft blue light. Rivers of liquid silver wound through valleys where strange trees hummed in the wind. It was beautiful, but Lily felt no awe, only dread. This was where her fate, and Earth's, would be decided. Vela stood beside her on the observation deck, her violet skin glowing faintly in the planet's light. "The Chamber of Echoes is where the council meets," she said quietly. "Every word spoken there is carried on the wind. Lies cannot hide, truth cannot be silenced. What if my truth isn't enough?" Lily asked. Vela turned to her. "Then we make it enough." They descended in a silent shuttle, landing on a platform of polished obsidian. Cathari warriors lined the path, their armor gleaming, their masks unreadable. None moved as Lily walked past, barefoot and wearing only a simple white tunic Vela had given her. She felt small, fragile, like a leaf in a storm. The Chamber of Echoes was a vast dome open to the sky, its floor made of smooth black stone that reflected the stars above. Hundreds of Cathari elders sat in tiered rings, their masks identical, their presence heavy with judgment. At the center stood a single pedestal, empty, waiting. Lily stepped onto it. A deep voice boomed from the highest tier. "Speak, human. Why should your species live?" Lily took a breath. Her voice trembled at first, but she forced it steady. "I am Lily. I come from a world that is small and fragile. We make mistakes. We hurt each other. We destroy what we love. But we also create. We heal. We dream. We look up at the stars and wonder if someone is looking back." She told them of a boy in a ruined city who shared his last piece of bread with a stranger, of a scientist who spent 40 years searching for a cure to a disease that killed her own daughter, of a song sung in a dark room that made a whole city weep with hope. She spoke of mothers who walked miles for clean water, of teachers who taught children under broken roofs, of artists who painted beauty on walls scarred by war. When she finished, silence fell, thick, heavy, endless. Then one elder stood. "You speak of kindness," he said, his voice sharp. "Yet your history is written in blood. You wage war for land, for power, for nothing. How is that worthy of life?" Lily met his masked gaze. "Because we learn. Slowly, painfully, but we learn. We used to burn witches. Now we send women to the stars. We used to chain people. Now we fight for each other's freedom. We are not perfect, but we try to be better." Another elder rose. "Your species is young, chaotic. You waste resources, poison your world, and multiply without thought. You are a plague." "Maybe," Lily said, "but even a weed can bloom, and sometimes the most broken things grow the strongest roots." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some elders shifted. Others remained still as stone. Then Vela stepped forward. "I have walked among them," she said, her voice clear and strong. "I have seen their cities, their art, their children. They are not perfect, but neither are we. Once we were like them, curious, flawed, full of questions. We forgot that. Perhaps they can remind us." The eldest of the council, a being so old his armor was cracked with age, leaned forward. "Commander Vela, you risk your rank, your life, for this creature. Why?" Vela looked at Lily, then back at the council. "Because she saw me. Not as a weapon. Not as a conqueror. But as a person. And in that moment I remembered what it means to be Cathari. Not just to rule, but to understand." The silence stretched. Lily's heart pounded so hard she thought it might break. Then slowly the eldest elder reached up and removed his mask. Gasps echoed through the chamber. It was forbidden, unheard of, for an elder to show his face in judgment. Beneath the mask, his skin was pale silver, his eyes milky with age but sharp with wisdom. "The right is honored," he said. "Earth shall be spared." Relief crashed over Lily like a wave. She swayed on her feet, but Vela was there, catching her arm with gentle strength. "But," the elder continued, "the human stays, as ambassador, as bridge between our peoples. If she fails, the cleansing begins anew." Lily nodded. "I accept." Vela bowed deeply. "Thank you, honored ones." As they left the chamber, the sky above turned from violet to gold, the Cathari dawn. Lily walked beside Vela through the crystalline streets, her bare feet cool on the smooth stone. "You did it," Vela said softly. "We did it," Lily corrected. In the weeks that followed, Lily began her new life. She was given quarters near the central spire, a room with walls that changed color with her mood, and a window that looked out over the silver rivers. Cathari scholars came to her daily asking questions about human culture, language, art. She taught them about music, how a simple melody could carry sorrow or joy. She showed them drawings of Earth's oceans, mountains, forests. She even tried to explain humor, though that made them tilt their heads in confusion. Vela visited often. Sometimes they sat in silence watching the twin moons rise. Sometimes they talked for hours. About war, about peace, about what it meant to belong. One evening, as they walked through a garden of glowing flowers, Vela asked, "Do you miss your world?" Lily looked at the alien sky. "Every day. But I know I'm needed here. If I can help your people see us as more than enemies, then it's worth it." Vela stopped walking. "You have already changed us. More than you know." Lily smiled. "Then maybe that's enough." But peace was fragile. Rumors spread through the city. Some Cathari called Lily a spy. Others claimed Vela had been corrupted by human weakness. Zorak, Vela's second-in-command, grew colder, his words sharper. One night he confronted Vela in the command hall. "You grow soft," he said. "You spend more time with the human than with your own kind." The fleet whispers. "They say you are no longer fit to lead." Vela faced him without fear. "I lead with my mind, not just my claws. If that makes me soft, then so be it." The council spared her, Zorak hissed. "But they did not say she could walk among us as an equal." "They said she is a bridge," Vela replied. "And bridges must be walked on to be useful." Zorak left, but his anger lingered like smoke. Days later, Lily was teaching a group of young Cathari about storytelling when alarms blared through the city. Red lights pulsed along the spires. Vela appeared at the door, her face grim. "There's been an attack," she said, "on a human research outpost near the border. All hands lost." The signal was sent just before it went dark. Lily's blood ran cold. "Who did it?" "The message was scrambled," Vela said. "But the weapon signature, it matches Cathari design." Lily stared at her. "You think one of your own did this?" "I don't know," Vela admitted. "But if it's true and the humans find out, the truce will shatter. War will return, and this time it will burn everything." They raced to the command center. Scans showed debris from the outpost drifting in space. Among the wreckage, a single data crystal survived. Vela played it in the central chamber. The recording showed human scientists working peacefully. Then, without warning, Cathari ships appeared, ships bearing Zorak's personal insignia. Weapons fired. Screams cut short. The screen went black. Lily turned to Vela, her eyes wide with betrayal. "He did this to ruin everything." Vela's face hardened. "He will answer for it," but Zorak was already gone. His ship had left the planet under false orders. He was heading for Earth. "He plans to strike again," Vela said, "to make it look like a full Cathari invasion. If he succeeds, there will be no peace. Only fire." Lily grabbed Vela's arm. "We have to stop him." Vela nodded. "My fastest ship is ready, but we must move now." As they boarded the vessel, Lily looked back at the glowing city. She had only just begun to feel at home. Now she was racing into danger again. But this time she wasn't alone. Vela stood at the helm, her golden eyes fixed on the stars. "Hold on," she said. "We have a traitor to catch." The ship leapt into the void, chasing betrayal across the dark. Behind them, two worlds held their breath, waiting to see if trust could survive the coming storm. The void between stars felt heavier this time. Lily sat in the co-pilot seat of Vela's swift pursuit vessel, her hands clenched in her lap. Outside, the black stretched endlessly, hiding enemies and allies alike. Zorak was ahead of them, his stolen warship cutting through space like a blade. His target was clear, a human colony on Proxima B, small, defenseless, and full of families who had never fired a weapon in their lives. "He'll reach them in 6 hours," Vela said, her voice tight. Her fingers danced over the glowing controls, pushing the ship faster than it was meant to go. The hull groaned in protest. "Can we catch him?" Lily asked. "Barely," Vela replied. "But even if we do, stopping him won't be enough. The humans must see the truth. They must know this was not the will of the Cathari Council." Lily nodded. "Then we bring proof, and we stand between him and that colony." Vela glanced at her. "You would risk your life for people you've never met?" "They're my people," Lily said simply. "Just like you're yours." Vela's golden eyes softened for a moment before hardening again. "Then hold on." The ship surged forward, stars blurring into streaks of light. Time stretched and snapped. Lily tried to rest, but sleep wouldn't come. She thought of the children on Proxima B, playing in domes under alien suns, learning Earth songs, drawing pictures of oceans they'd never seen. She thought of her sister back on Earth, waiting for news that might never come. Finally, the sensors pinged. Zorak's ship appeared on the screen, a dark speck growing larger. "He's powering weapons," Vela said. "He knows we're here. Can we hail him?" Lily asked. Vela tried. Static crackled, then Zorak's voice filled the cabin. Cold, sharp, full of contempt. "Vela, you bring the human pet with you. How far you have fallen. Stand down, Zorak," Vela commanded. "This is not honor. This is murder." "Honor is silence," Zorak shot back. "Honor is purity. The humans are a disease. I will burn them before they infect us all." The transmission cut off. "He's locking onto the colony," Vela said, her claws tightening on the controls. "I can't outrun his shot," Lily's mind raced. "Then we don't outrun it. We block it," Vela looked at her. "What?" "Fly between his ship and the colony," Lily said. "Use our hull as a shield." "That's suicide," Vela said. "Maybe," Lily replied. "But if we die stopping him, the truth dies with us. If we live, we prove that not all Cathari are like him." Vela stared at her for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Brace yourself." The ship turned sharply, angling toward the path of Zorak's weapon. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Lily closed her eyes and whispered a prayer she hadn't used since childhood. A blinding flash lit the cabin. The ship shuddered violently. Metal screamed. Lily was thrown against her restraints, her head ringing. Smoke filled the air. "Shields are gone," Vela said through gritted teeth. "Engines at 30%. But we held. On the screen, Zorak's ship turned toward them. "Fools," his voice boomed. "You think your sacrifice matters? I will kill you both and the humans will still burn." He fired again, but this time, something changed. From behind Zorak's ship, 3 more vessels emerged, sleek silver, bearing the mark of the High Council. They opened fire, not on the colony, but on Zorak. The Council sent reinforcements. Vela breathed, relief washing over her face. Zorak's ship exploded in a silent bloom of fire and debris. The threat was gone. Silence returned to the void. Lily slumped in her seat, trembling. "It's over." "Not yet," Vela said gently. "Now comes the harder part." They landed on Proxima B not as invaders but as saviors. The colonists, men, women, children, gathered at the edge of the landing field, eyes wide with fear and confusion. When Lily stepped out, wearing her simple white tunic and no weapon, a murmur went through the crowd. "She's human," someone whispered. "But she came with a Cathari ship," another said. Lily walked forward alone. "My name is Lily," she called out. "I was born on Earth. I speak for humanity and for those among the Cathari who believe we can live in peace." She told them everything. About the Council, about Vela, about Zorak's betrayal. She played the recording of the outpost attack. She showed them the wreckage, the truth written in fire and metal. A woman stepped forward, holding a child's hand. "You risked your life for us?" "Because you're worth it," Lily said. Tears filled the woman's eyes. She nodded. Vela stayed back, watching. She did not speak. She did not need to. Her presence alone, unarmored, vulnerable, was a message. Over the next few days, Lily and Vela worked together. They helped repair damaged systems. They shared food. They sat with families and listened to their stories. Slowly, fear turned to trust. But Lily knew this was only the beginning. When they returned to the Cathari homeworld, the Council awaited them in the Chamber of Echoes once more. This time, the mood was different. The elders sat not in judgment but in reflection. The eldest spoke first. "You have proven that trust is not weakness. That truth can cross even the widest void." Vela bowed. "We ask only for a chance to build something new." The Council conferred in low tones. Then the eldest turned to Lily. "You will remain as ambassador. But now you will also train others, humans and Cathari alike. You will teach them to listen before they strike." Lily smiled. "I'd be honored." In the months that followed, a new school rose between the crystalline spires, a place where young humans and Cathari learned side by side. They studied language, history, art, and ethics. They debated, argued, laughed. Lily taught them about empathy. Vela taught them about honor that included mercy. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Lily stood on a balcony overlooking the school. Vela joined her, her violet skin glowing in the soft light. "You've changed everything," Vela said. "We did," Lily corrected. "Together." Vela looked at her, her golden eyes warm. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you had run that day? If you had hidden in the void?" Lily thought for a moment. Maybe I would have lived. But I wouldn't have mattered. Staying, that's what made the difference. Vela reached out and took her hand. Their fingers intertwined, human and Cathari. Fragile and strong, different but not divided. Below them, a group of children played in the garden, some with pale skin and dark hair, others with violet skin and silver eyes. They chased each other, laughing in a mix of human and Cathari words, inventing a new language as they went. Lily watched them and felt a quiet joy. This was the future. Not perfect, not easy, but possible. They'll never know how close we came to losing it all, she said softly. Maybe that's the point, Vela replied. Peace isn't about remembering the war. It's about building something worth protecting. Lily leaned her head on Vela's shoulder. The stars above burned steady and bright, no longer cold and distant, but full of promise. Far away on Earth, a little girl looked up at the night sky and whispered Lily's name, not knowing her sister was already lighting the way for them all. And in the heart of the galaxy, two worlds began to heal, not because they were the same, but because they chose to see each other as more than enemies. They chose to see each other as people. The end of Part 3. Years passed like tides, slow and steady, reshaping the shores of two worlds. The school between the spires grew into a city of its own, a place called Alara, named after an old human word for light. Humans and Cathari lived side by side, not as conquerors and conquered, but as neighbors. Children played in shared courtyards, their laughter mixing human songs with Cathari hums. Markets buzzed with trade. Earth-grown fruit sold beside Cathari crystal lamps that glowed with living light. Peace was no longer a dream. It was daily life. Lily, now older, her hair streaked with silver, walked these streets every morning. She wore no title, but everyone knew her. They called her the Bridge, not with awe, but with warmth. She still taught at the school, though more often she listened than spoke. Wisdom she had learned came not from answers, but from questions asked gently. Vela walked with her most days. Her rank as commander had been retired, replaced by a new role, keeper of balance. She no longer wore armor, not even in ceremony. Her violet skin bore the lines of time, but her golden eyes still held that quiet fire. They rarely spoke of the past. They didn't need to. It lived in every handshake between species, in every shared meal, in every child who spoke both tongues without thinking. But peace, like glass, is strong until it isn't. Rumors began to stir in the outer colonies. Ships went missing. Signals vanished. At first, the council dismissed it as accidents, rogue asteroids, system failures. But Lily felt a familiar chill. She had heard this silence before. One evening, a young Cathari scout named Nira burst into Lily's quarters, her silver eyes wide with fear. "Ambassador," she gasped, "we found something." Near the rim of known space. Lily followed her to the observation deck. On the main screen, grainy footage played. It showed a derelict ship, human design, old from the early days of expansion. Floating beside it was a Cathari scout vessel, torn open like paper, and between them, drifting in the void, was a symbol carved into a piece of hull plating. A circle with a broken line through it. Lily's blood ran cold. That's the mark of the Silent Ones. Vela entered behind her. They were thought extinct, a splinter group from the old wars. They believed purity meant isolation, no contact, no mercy, no change. "They're back," Lily said, "and they're killing both of us." The council convened an emergency session. Many elders refused to believe it. "The Silent Ones vanished centuries ago," one argued. "This is a trick." "Then it's a trick that leaves bodies," Vela replied sharply. "We cannot ignore it." After much debate, the council agreed to send a small envoy, led by Lily and Vela, to investigate the rim. It was a risk. If they were wrong, they wasted precious resources. If they were right, they might be walking into a trap. Their ship, the Dawn Whisper, was fast and quiet, built for diplomacy, not war. It carried no weapons, only sensors and truth. As they traveled deeper into the unknown, the stars grew sparse. Comms went silent. Even the background hum of the galaxy seemed to fade. "They're jamming us," Nira said from the sensor station, and not with Cathari or human tech. Something older. Then they saw it. A station hung in the dark. Not Cathari, not human, but a twisted fusion of both. Hulls of stolen ships grafted together like bones in a nightmare. Lights flickered along its surface in no known pattern, and at its heart pulsed a core of black metal that seemed to swallow light. "They've been building this for years," Vela whispered. "Watching, waiting. A voice crackled over the comms, harsh, distorted, speaking in broken Cathari and human. You should not have come, Bridge. You should have stayed in your garden of lies. Lily stepped to the mic. Who are you? We are the cure, the voice replied. You mix blood with poison. You call it peace. We call it death. We will burn the bridge, and all who walk it. The screen went dark. Moments later, 3 small fighters launched from the station, sleek, silent, armed with scavenged weapons. They moved like ghosts. Evasive maneuvers, Vela ordered, her hands flying over the controls. The Dawn Whisper twisted through space, but one shot grazed the hull. Alarms blared. Shields at 60%, Nira reported. We can't fight them, Lily said. But maybe we don't have to. She opened a wideband transmission, not to the fighters, but to the station itself. She played a recording. Children from Alara laughing, singing a song that mixed human lullabies with Cathari harmonics. It was raw, imperfect, beautiful. This is what you want to destroy, Lily said. Not enemies, children, dreams, hope. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then one of the fighters broke formation. It hovered near the Dawn Whisper, its weapons powered down. A new voice came through, softer, younger. I heard that song before. My mother used to sing it. Before they took her, who took you? Lily asked gently. The elders of the Silent Ones. They said contact was corruption. They erased our names, our faces, our past. You don't have to be silent, Lily said. You can speak. You can choose silence. Then the fighter turned and fired. Not at the Dawn Whisper, but at the station's main antenna. Sparks erupted in the void. Chaos followed. Other fighters hesitated. Some joined the rebel. Others attacked blindly. The station's defenses flickered. Now, Vela said, we send the signal. Nira activated a pulse, a data burst containing everything. The truth about Alara, the recordings, the faces of children from both species. It shot out in all directions, aimed at every colony, every ship, every listening ear in known space. The Silent Ones could hide no longer. Back on the Cathari homeworld, the Council watched the transmission. So did Earth's leaders. So did 100 colonies across the rim. Outrage turned to action. Fleets mobilized, not to conquer but to protect, to rescue. In the weeks that followed, the Twisted Station was dismantled. The Silent Ones were not executed, but offered a choice: return to society or live in exile with their beliefs. Many chose to come home. They wept when they saw Alara for the first time. Lily stood with Vela on the rebuilt observation deck, watching a new group of students arrive. Some human, some Cathari, some born of both. They carried books, instruments, seeds from Earth, and spores from Cathari gardens. We thought peace was the end, Lily said softly. But it's just the beginning. Vela squeezed her hand. And beginnings are always fragile. But worth protecting, Lily finished. That night, under the twin moons, the people of Alara held a festival. Music filled the air, human violins and Cathari resonance flutes playing the same melody. Food was shared. Stories were told. Old enemies sat together and remembered how far they'd come. Lily looked up at the stars, no longer cold and distant, but alive with connection. Somewhere out there, other species watched. Maybe they were afraid. Maybe they were curious. But now they had a choice because of her, because of Vela, because of a single moment long ago when a human girl chose to stay, and an alien commander chose to show her face. Peace was not the absence of war. It was the presence of courage, of trust, of daily choices to see the person behind the mask. And as the music swelled and the lights of Alara glowed like a second dawn, Lily knew. This was only the first chapter of a story that would echo across the stars for generations to come. The peace held, but it changed. It grew deeper, wider, like roots spreading through stone. Alara was no longer just a city. It became a beacon. Ships from distant systems began to arrive, not with weapons, but with questions. Species Lily had never seen before stepped onto the landing platforms. Their eyes full of caution and curiosity. They had heard the stories of a human and a Cathari who chose understanding over war. They wanted to know if such a thing was real. Lily, now in her late 50s, greeted them all. Her steps were slower, her hair fully silver, but her voice carried the same quiet strength. She no longer stood alone. Beside her walked Vela, her golden eyes still sharp, her presence calm and steady. Together they welcomed the strangers, not as leaders but as guides. One morning, a small vessel landed at the edge of the city. It was unlike any design Lily had seen. Smooth, organic, shaped like a curled leaf. From it emerged a being tall and slender, with skin like polished bronze and eyes that shifted color with emotion. She wore no armor, no weapons, only a simple robe woven with star patterns. "I am Maela," she said, her voice melodic, speaking in halting human. "From the veiled reach. We have watched your world from afar. We thought peace between enemies was a myth, but you made it true." Lily smiled. "Peace isn't between enemies. It's what turns enemies into something else." Maela stayed. She shared stories of her people, ocean dwellers who lived beneath twin suns who communicated through light and song. In return, she learned human poetry and Cathari history. Soon others came. A reptilian scholar from the ash belts, a hive mind envoy from the Crystal Nebula. Each brought knowledge, art, fears, and hopes. Alara became the first true alliance, not ruled by one species, but shaped by many. They built a new council, not in a dome of judgment, but in a garden of voices. Decisions were made not by decree, but by listening. But not all watched with hope. Far beyond the rim in the cold dark where no stars shone, something old stirred. It had no name, only a hunger. It fed on division, on fear, on the silence between species. It had slept for eons, waiting for civilizations to rise and fall. Now, with unity spreading like fire, it woke. The first sign was subtle. A ship vanished near the outer colonies, not destroyed, but emptied. No wreckage, no distress call. Just silence. Then another, and another. Lily felt it before the reports came. A chill in the air, even under the twin suns. Dreams filled with static and whispers in no language. "Something is wrong," she told Vela one night sitting on their favorite balcony. Vela nodded. "The sensors detect no enemy. But the void feels watched." They called a meeting of the new alliance. Maela spoke of ancient legends from her world, of a shadow that eats names, a force that erased not bodies, but memory. The reptilian scholar recalled ruins on his homeworld, cities frozen in time, their people gone, their histories blank. It doesn't kill, Lily realized. It makes you forget why you matter. The truth came when a scout ship returned from the dead zone. Its crew was alive but empty. They spoke their names but could not say who they loved. They remembered how to fly but not why they flew. Their eyes were hollow, the entity was real, and it was coming. Panic threatened to tear the alliance apart. Some wanted to flee, others wanted to build walls. But Lily stood before them all in the garden of voices and said, "If we run, we give it what it wants. If we hide, we become what it feeds on. The only weapon it cannot consume is connection." So they prepared, not with weapons, but with stories. Every species in the alliance recorded their histories. Not just battles and leaders, but lullabies, recipes, jokes, first words, last goodbyes. They wove them into a single signal, a pulse of memory, of identity, of love. They called it the Echo. "We will broadcast it from the heart of Alara," Vela announced. "Not to fight the shadow, but to remind ourselves and each other who we are." The day the shadow arrived, the sky did not darken. The stars did not vanish. Instead, a silence fell so deep it hurt the ears. Comms died. Lights dimmed. Even the wind stopped. In the streets, people clutched each other, whispering names, singing songs, holding hands. A child cried out for her mother. A Cathari elder recited a poem to a human friend. Maela began to hum, her voice trembling but clear. And then Lily stepped onto the central platform. She did not speak to the sky. She spoke to them. "My name is Lily," she said, her voice carried by old speakers and new hearts. "I was born on a small blue world. I lost everything. But I found something better. People who saw me, not my species. Remember your names. Remember your loves. Remember that you are not alone." Vela joined her, taking her hand. "I am Vela. I once wore armor to hide my face, but she taught me that truth is stronger than fear." One by one, others stepped forward. Maela sang a song of ocean tides. The reptilian scholar told a tale of his grandfather's first flight. A young human Cathari child recited a poem she wrote about two suns and one heart. The echo began. A wave of sound and light pulsed from Alara, not loud, but deep. It carried laughter, tears, recipes for bread, the sound of rain, the hum of a lullaby, the first cry of a newborn. It was messy, imperfect, alive. The silence shuddered. The shadow recoiled. It could not feed on unity. It could not erase what was held together by 1,000 hands. With a sound like glass breaking in reverse, it unraveled, dissolving into the void from which it came. Light returned. The wind sighed. The stars blinked back into place. In the days that followed, no one celebrated with cheers. They gathered in quiet circles, sharing food, holding each other, telling stories again, just to be sure. Lily and Vela walked the gardens, hand in hand. They were older now, slower, but their bond was stronger than ever. "Do you think it's gone for good?" Lily asked. "No," Vela said, "but neither are we. As long as we remember each other, it can never win." Years later, when Lily's body finally grew too tired, she did not die in fear. She lay in a room filled with light, surrounded by friends from a dozen worlds. Vela sat beside her, holding her hand, whispering old stories. "Thank you," Lily whispered, her voice faint, "for seeing me." "Thank you," Vela replied, tears like liquid gold on her violet cheeks, "for teaching me how to see." When Lily passed, the entire alliance mourned. But they did not fall silent, they sang. They told her story, not as a legend, but as a lesson. Children learned her name not as a hero, but as a reminder that one person choosing kindness in the face of fear can change everything. Vela lived many more years. She never took another partner. She said her heart had already found its home. She continued to guide the alliance, always wearing a small pendant Lily had given her, a piece of earth glass shaped like a star. When Vela finally joined Lily in the quiet beyond, they buried her beside a tree grown from an earth seed, its leaves shimmering with Cathari light, and the story did not end. Because in every classroom on Ilara, in every ship that left the harbor of peace, in every whispered lullaby under alien skies, two names lived on, not as rulers, not as warriors, but as the first to say, "I see you," and in that seeing the galaxy found its soul.